In a world where perception plays a key role and first impressions can determine future opportunities, there's a vast difference between being one of many and exuding an aura of luxury. Many people spend their lives chasing recognition, striving to meet standards and be accepted by society. However, true greatness manifests not in an obsessive desire to attract attention, but in a natural magnetism, a presence that cannot be ignored. 9 key principles will be revealed to transform how others perceive you, so that you cease to be just an alternative and become the embodiment of perfection, value, and uniqueness. Louise Hay, a renowned figure in personal growth, emphasized the importance of the inner world. It's not about superficial tricks or trying to appear as someone you're not, but about developing a mindset and manner of behavior that reflect your true worth. The perception of luxury isn't a matter of material possessions, famous brands, or displays of wealth, but how you present yourself to the world, your speech, gait, interaction with others, and most importantly, your attitude toward yourself. What comes to mind when you hear the word luxury? Perhaps an expensive car, exquisite jewelry, or an exotic resort. All these things have one thing in common: their scarcity, high quality, and aura of exclusivity. It's important to note that these items don't strive for recognition. They simply exist, and the world recognizes their value. This is how you need to position yourself. However, most people are programmed to do the opposite. From childhood, they are taught to settle for less, not to stand out, so as not to appear arrogant. The idea is instilled that modesty is a virtue, but often this leads to undervaluing oneself. It's important to understand the difference between modesty and low self-esteem. It's not about elevating yourself above others, but about recognizing your uniqueness and living in accordance with that awareness. The paradox is that many people, experiencing an acute need for approval, spend their lives searching for it, hoping that someone from the outside will confirm their significance. And the more desperate these searches become, the harder it is to gain the desired recognition. The solution lies in a radical shift in consciousness. Instead of begging and proving your worth, you need to start behaving as a person who already possesses that worth. The first principle of perceiving yourself as luxury is simple, but possesses immense power. Your value is not up for discussion. This means that you cannot lower your own standards to please others. A diamond doesn't lose its value because someone can't afford it. A famous designer doesn't reduce the price of their works if someone can't buy them. The same applies to you. By settling for less than you deserve, you're sending the world a signal about your insignificance. Of course, this isn't about rigidity or arrogance, but about a clear understanding of acceptable boundaries. Many people fall into the trap of unhealthy relationships, unloved jobs, or humiliating situations out of fear of loneliness or missed opportunities. However, the real loss in this case is the loss of self-respect. If you strive to be perceived as luxury, you need to have the inner strength to reject everything that doesn't suit you. But the world assesses us not only by our words, but also by how we present ourselves. This is where the second principle comes into play. Your appearance speaks for you before you even open your mouth. And it's not about following fashion trends or wearing expensive clothes, but about creating an image that reflects your essence. True elegance isn't the label on your clothes, but how you carry yourself. A confident person, appearing in society, involuntarily attracts attention. Their posture is straight, their gaze is calm, their movements are deliberate. There's not a drop of despair or anxiety about being accepted. They don't need approval, because they already possess it within themselves. This is what distinguishes those who are seen as one of many options from those who stand apart. The third axiom of success comes into its own. The quality of what you say shapes public opinion about you. After all, people remember not only the essence of what was said, but also the manner of expression. Those who leave an indelible mark on history. Avoid impulsiveness in their speeches, don't waste words in vain, and don't seek to fill pauses with meaningless remarks. Communication should be distinguished by clarity, accuracy, and, most importantly, persuasiveness. There's a common misconception that verbosity is a sign of high intelligence or charisma, but true power lies in the ability to hold your tongue. A person who knows when it's appropriate to remain silent and when it's necessary to speak with confidence will always command well-deserved respect. Think of any influential person. They don't raise their voice, don't complain, and don't seek approval in empty phrases. Her words carry weight because they reflect a disciplined mind and unwavering self-esteem. This is precisely what you need to cultivate within yourself if you aspire to be a role model, not just one of many. Naturally, all of the above must be supported by the fourth commandment. Your energy is your primary calling card. You can possess eloquence and impeccable style in clothing, but if your energy lacks magnetism, it will not go unnoticed. There is nothing more attractive than a person who exudes confidence without the slightest strain. However, this quality is not acquired instantly. It is formed through internal work on oneself, through positive thoughts and beliefs. Louise Hay, known for her work in psychology, has repeatedly emphasized the power of positive affirmations and the transformative power of self-love. In order to be perceived as an exceptional individual, it is necessary to master the fifth commandment: absolute control over your emotions and reactions. Think of anyone who is considered a standard, a personality that inspires respect and admiration. What unites them? Composure. They do not act on impulse, do not allow provocations to throw them off balance, and do not lose their composure under the influence of external circumstances. They are masters of their own destiny. Many people live in slavery to their own emotions, succumbing to anger, anxiety, fear, and insecurity. Their mood depends entirely on the events that occur. Praise causes them a surge of happiness, and criticism plunges them into the abyss of despair. This is a fatal mistake. Personalities with magnetic influence do not allow external factors to determine their internal state. They maintain unwavering calm, no matter what. But how to achieve such a state? Through continuous mental training. It's not about suppressing emotions, but about skillfully managing them. A person who easily loses their temper, is prone to dramatization, or reacts with despair, will never earn a reputation as a valuable individual. The key to success lies in developing the ability to observe your emotions without allowing them to consume you. Take a deep breath before responding. Remain calm in tense moments, and most importantly, never demonstrate neediness or haste. By gaining emotional stability, you will radiate confidence in every aspect of your life. You will not desperately seek attention, humiliate yourself, or succumb to meaningless provocations. It is this stability that distinguishes leaders from those who blindly follow the crowd and allows others to see you as a person worthy not only of respect, but also of admiration. However, mastering your emotions is only part of the complex picture. The sixth principle of achieving success lies in the ability to conserve your time and energy. Have you noticed that truly valuable things are not available to everyone? Not everyone can become a member of a prestigious club, drive a luxury car, or move in exclusive circles. And this is not just by chance. Limited supply creates high value. People who are always available, agree to all offers, and desperately try to please are perceived as something commonplace. Conversely, those who treat themselves as a luxury do not waste themselves on trifles, carefully choose those they let into their lives, do not need constant approval, and make their presence significant. This does not mean ignoring others or being arrogant, but rather consciously managing your time. If you generously give your attention to everyone, people will stop valuing it. But if you are selective and share your energy only with those who deserve it, others will understand that communicating with you is a privilege, not a given. Those who have a real impact on the world understand this perfectly. They do not surround themselves with random people, do not waste time on empty talk, and do not waste energy on hopeless relationships. They realize that time is their most valuable resource and protect it with particular care. In turn, there is another important element that ensures the effectiveness of all the above principles. Here comes into force the seventh commandment, mastering the art of silence and mystery. In the modern world, where everyone shares details of their lives on social media and the flow of information is in full swing, those who can maintain an aura of mystery undoubtedly stand out from the crowd. The most interesting personalities are not those who reveal all their cards at once, but those who leave room for imagination, skillfully balance what they show and what they hide, and do not feel the need to justify their every step. They allow others to gradually discover them for themselves. Mystery is not aloofness or inaccessibility, but an understanding of the power of anticipation. If you reveal all your secrets too quickly, you lose the ability to surprise. But if you meter out information about yourself, you automatically become more attractive. That's why great historical figures always surrounded themselves with an aura of restraint, not because they had something to hide, but because they understood that the value of their presence increases when not everything is on the surface. Here, the eighth commandment comes into play, your ability to influence without directly seeking it. How many people stumble, trying to forcefully win the favor of those around them? They tirelessly repeat their triumphs, flaunt their achievements, and crave praise and approval. But the paradox is that such behavior does not inspire admiration, but rather repels. True greatness does not need ostentatious proof. People with genuine influence do not seek to attract attention at all costs. It comes to them naturally and effortlessly. How do they do it? The secret lies in impeccable skill, in perfection in their craft. When a person reaches the top in their chosen field, when their work, actions, and even their very presence exude the highest level, recognition comes without extra effort or insistent demands. Remember how luxury brands behave. Do you see high fashion houses begging you to buy their products? Or influential political leaders begging for approval from voters? No. They create something so valuable and unique that the whole world craves to be a part of it. This is how you need to build your life, your career, and your relationships. And here we come to the ninth, and perhaps the most important commandment. Your self-perception is the foundation on which the attitude of others towards you is built. You can perfectly master all the previous strategies, but if in your heart of hearts you do not believe in your own importance, all efforts will be in vain. How you see yourself determines how others see you. If you consider yourself just one of many options, you will be treated accordingly. If you are tormented by doubts about your own worth, these doubts will inevitably manifest themselves in every interaction you have with the world. But if you truly recognize yourself as a high-level person, someone capable of bringing something unique and valuable to this world, this conviction will shine through in everything you do. Do not try to deceive those around you. People unerringly sense insecurity, the need for recognition, and a lack of authenticity. But when you radiate absolute confidence in yourself, in who you are, the world responds in kind. A truly magical transformation occurs when you stop seeing yourself as a petitioner, eager to be chosen, and start acting as a person who is an obvious and desirable choice. At this moment, the world around you is transformed. This has nothing to do with arrogance. It is a crystal clear self-assessment. It is not self-confidence, but a deep awareness of one's own significance. People who possess true value do not need external confirmation, because they steadfastly believe that their merits do not depend on the fleeting opinions of others. When you accept this philosophy, when you live radiating confidence, the world involuntarily begins to perceive you as a figure that cannot be ignored. If there is a line separating those who are considered outstanding from those who remain in the shadows of obscurity, it is the ability to project unwavering self-confidence. This is not about arrogant behavior or affected importance, but about a deep conviction born from within, a confidence so palpable that those around you feel it, without even saying a word. This confidence is not based on praise or flattery. It does not depend on external assessments at all. It is an inner strength, forged by experience, painstaking work on oneself, and deep self-knowledge. Have you ever wondered why some people, as soon as they cross the threshold of a room, attract all eyes without making any effort to do so? The answer is simple. They radiate an aura that sets them apart from the crowd. They do not seek to be the center of attention. They are simply themselves. This leads us to another key aspect: mastery of non-verbal communication. While most people focus exclusively on what they say, those who are considered extraordinary understand that body language, intonation, and gaze can convey much more than any words. How you sit, how you move, how you use pauses in conversation, all of this shapes the impression you make on those around you. A person who demonstrates nervousness, with jerky movements and a slouching posture, involuntarily transmits insecurity. Conversely, someone who stands straight, moves smoothly and deliberately, controls their breathing, and maintains firm eye contact, exudes confidence, and this image is firmly imprinted in the minds of those around them. No less significant is emotional autonomy. It is not uncommon for people to seek the approval of those around them, allowing their emotional state to depend on the attention or recognition they receive. This creates a dependence that, contrary to expectations, does not make them more attractive, but rather makes them vulnerable. Those who rightfully deserve admiration never allow their emotional well-being to depend on external circumstances. A person with high self-esteem does not seek to be accepted or avoid being rejected. They do not feel the need to prove anything or desperately demonstrate their importance. Their inner world is stable. Their joy does not depend on external factors, and this independence creates a magnetic effect, as it radiates a sense of self-sufficiency that is deeply attractive to others. But there is something even more impressive: the ability to command respect without demanding it. Many mistakenly believe that in order to earn respect, it is necessary to impose one's authority, raise one's voice, or demand recognition. However, those who truly inspire respect do so effortlessly, without seeking approval or validation. They simply behave in a way that makes it obvious that they will not settle for less than they deserve. Such people do not need to surround themselves with a crowd of admirers or be the center of attention for their presence to be noticed. They behave with restraint, but with a strength that cannot be ignored. The secret lies in setting clear boundaries without the need for explanations. They do not allow anyone to treat them with less respect than they deserve, and if someone tries to do so, their reaction is detachment. Among other things, creating a distinctive individuality plays an important role in shaping the perception of high value. People remember not those who dissolve into the crowd, but those who have a unique appearance. They do not blindly copy fashion trends or tailor their personality to other people's expectations. Instead, they develop a unique style, manner of communication, and charisma that sets them apart from the rest. A common mistake is trying to please everyone. This is not only unrealistic, but also deprives a person of authenticity. Those who leave their mark on history are not afraid to be different. They do not seek universal approval, but remain true to themselves. And it is this sincerity that becomes their main virtue. The most influential figures in history never tried to please everyone. They firmly defended their beliefs, boldly expressed their thoughts, and did not succumb to societal pressure. And this principle is still relevant today. If you want to be perceived as a person of high value, be prepared to be different from others. Another important aspect is the ability to concentrate on what is truly meaningful. Many people waste their energy on trivial matters, worrying about other people's opinions, reacting to minor provocations, or getting involved in pointless conflicts. But those who truly stand out understand that time is a priceless resource and do not waste it on distractions. This approach manifests itself in all areas of their lives. They do not spend hours on social media looking for approval, do not participate in meaningless conversations, and do not waste energy arguing with those who are unable to understand them. Instead, they invest time in self-improvement, their projects, and personal growth. This is the key difference. While some seek instant recognition, others work to create their legacy. They do not seek short-term satisfaction, but create something that will outlive them. This mindset elevates them to a new level, as they do not need fleeting attention, but are focused on creating real impact. A significant difference between those who are seen as key players and those who are seen as superfluous lies in the ability to generate value without asking for anything in return. While some are fixated on receiving, on persistently demanding recognition, or on defending their positions, others simply provide something so significant that the world cannot ignore it. Think of anyone who has left a lasting mark on history. They did not limit themselves to asking for fame. They earned it by creating something outstanding. This principle applies to any field of activity. If you aspire to be recognized as an exceptional individual, do not focus excessively on personal gain, but direct your efforts to what you can give to the world. This leads us to an important aspect: strategic patience. Many lose motivation when they do not see immediate results and retreat without receiving the expected recognition in a short period. However, those who truly reach the top understand that a reputation of high value is built gradually. A painter doesn't become a legend after creating just one masterpiece. A leader doesn't earn respect with a single speech. And a professional doesn't become the gold standard in their field in just 1 year. It all takes time, persistence, and a forward-thinking perspective. Many don't realize this, striving for instant success and immediate recognition. But those who truly change the world understand that patience is necessary to achieve perfection. They don't seek instant fame, knowing that their value will become obvious over time. So, here it is, the cornerstone of success. If you aspire to be considered an extraordinary person, think big and act steadily. What matters, is not a fleeting impression, but the creation of a reputation that stands the test of time. Look at those who are considered exceptional, and you'll see more than just superficial charm, social standing, or material wealth. Their personality seems to be surrounded by an aura of uniqueness, thanks to which they are perceived not as one of many, but as something truly special. But where does this perception come from? One of the most powerful tools in creating the image of a high-caliber person is selectivity. In a world where many are desperately trying to fit in, those who set clear criteria for admission into their lives stand out effortlessly. This isn't arrogance or disdain for others, but an awareness that time and energy are limited resources that shouldn't be wasted on empty interactions. When a person is always available to everyone, their presence loses its value. Those who are more restrained with their time and attention create an impression of importance, not because they are playing hard to get, but because they have high standards for those with whom they share their energy. Additionally, an important factor is the ability to remain calm in any situation. Most people react to troubles impulsively, allowing emotions to take over, but those who possess an imposing presence know that self-control is the key to success. They don't rush to answer, they are not easily thrown off balance, and they don't lose self-control in the face of provocation. This emotional stability sends a clear signal. Nothing and no one can shake them. And when a person radiates such inner strength, they involuntarily become a role model, someone whose presence is synonymous with natural authority. An important role in shaping your image is played by the art of communication. It's not just the content of your speech that matters, but also the manner in which it's delivered, the pace, the ability to pause, the intonation, and the rhythm. Rushing through speech, uncertainty in your voice, or an obsessive desire to be heard inadvertently reveal your inner instability. Conversely, people who know how to take strategic pauses, meticulously choose their words, and convey their thoughts without strain, attract attention effortlessly. Presence of mind is also based on consistency. People whose speech is inconsistent, who say one thing today and contradict themselves tomorrow, lose the trust of those around them. However, those who demonstrate absolute consistency between their words and actions are perceived as a pillar of reliability. This consistency is evident not only in speeches, but also in actions. Many people love to talk about their plans, ambitions, and values, but their actual actions often say otherwise. In contrast, those who are rightly considered unique don't need to try to convince anyone of their importance. Their life path, their behavior in various situations, their actions in private and in public, all harmoniously reflect their true essence. Another important aspect is the ability to keep a secret. In an era of universal openness, when many flaunt every detail of their lives, those who prefer to keep part of themselves in the shadows acquire an aura of mystery. Information that is available in abundance loses its value, but the ability to dose openness evokes genuine interest. Mystery doesn't mean aloofness or inaccessibility, but rather an understanding that the unknown is always more attractive than the obvious. When everything is known about a person, they cease to be a mystery, the intrigue disappears. But when an aura of restraint surrounds them, when it's impossible to predict their every step, interest in them doesn't fade. The ability to manage attention is a key element in the art of making an impression. Many people crave attention, but their actions often reveal only a desperate need for recognition. In contrast, individuals who are truly valued don't seek attention as such, but attract it with their inner strength and magnetism. How do they do it? The secret lies in the quality of their presence, in the energy they radiate, and not in obsessive attempts to be noticed. This is evident in simple but important things. When entering a room, they don't need to shout about themselves, introduce themselves, or demonstrate their importance. Their confident stride, calm gaze, and overall composure speak volumes, making a much stronger impression than any deliberate display. An important aspect is also the ability to inspire and support others, while some try to elevate themselves by belittling those around them. Those who leave an indelible mark on people's hearts stimulate growth and development with their presence. They do not need to demean others to appear taller. On the contrary, their confidence, knowledge, and manner of communication raise the bar of conversation and energize everything around them. It is these people who inspire admiration and are remembered for a long time, because in a world where many seek attention through superficiality and fleeting trends, they stand out for their depth and authenticity. Their charisma is not empty words and memorized gestures, but sincerity that penetrates the very heart. Finally, there is a factor that distinguishes those who are considered just one of many from those who are perceived as unique and incomparable: the ability to constantly evolve. People who are content with what they have achieved, stuck in the past, eventually lose their relevance and interest. At the same time, those who understand that growth is a continuous process always remain in the spotlight. This principle applies to any field of activity: an artist who does not update their creative arsenal, a leader who has stopped introducing innovations, a person who is stuck in their comfort zone. All of them sooner or later lose their influence. But those who continue to explore, learn, and challenge themselves retain their appeal and magnetism throughout their lives. The perception of your high value by others is not a matter of external attractiveness, financial well-being, or social position. It is, first of all, the ability to manage your own energy, use time rationally, weigh every word, and constantly work on personal growth. It's about creating a presence that can't be ignored. When a person truly embodies these principles, they do not need to prove their importance, they simply radiate it. When we observe a person who seems to possess high value, it is not only in their words or actions, but also in the influence they have on others. This perception is formed not by one factor, but by a combination of elements that intertwine subtly, yet powerfully. One of the most captivating aspects of the attractiveness of such people is their control over time. They are not subject to momentary desires, and do not participate in the constant rush that is characteristic of most. They understand that time should not be wasted on activities that do not contribute to growth, or on situations that cause emotional exhaustion. A person who acts calmly, does not rush into decisions, and does not allow someone else's rhythm to dictate their speed, demonstrates absolute control over their destiny. But there is also a deeper aspect to their attitude towards time: the ability to make others feel the significance of every moment spent with them. While many strive to fill the silence with meaningless words, or make an impression with long and bombastic speeches, those who know how to manage pauses, intensity, and depth of conversation stand out without unnecessary demonstration. It is important to note their ability to make a lasting impression without exaggeration. Many mistakenly believe that in order to be remembered, you need to be noisy, attract attention with extravagant behavior, or put on a mask of an artificially attractive personality. But in reality, those who leave a deep mark do not need such tricks. Their words are precise, their gestures are conscious, their gaze reflects confidence, and their presence has a genuine impact on those around them. The question of what distinguishes those who are considered indispensable from those who remain in the shadows comes down to the ability to manage one's own self-awareness. A blurred and undefined personality, constantly adapting to circumstances, seeking approval from the outside, is doomed to the role of an easily replaceable figure. Conversely, a person with a clearly defined identity, who does not compromise their principles and remains true to themselves, becomes a role model. No less important is the aura that such people radiate. The impression is made not only by what they say, but also by every detail of their behavior. The manner of entering the room, the piercing gaze, the even breathing, the confident posture. All this creates a sense of significance that requires no words. Skillful conversation also plays a role. They do not strive for universal attention, but every word they say is weighty. They do not fill the silence with meaningless phrases, but when they enter into a conversation, they do so with a clear purpose. They know when to remain silent and when to express a thought that remains in memory for a long time. Another important point is the impact they have on others. They do not try to persuade or impose their point of view, but rather allow their actions to speak for themselves. Without seeking admiration or recognition, they nevertheless command deep respect. They do not need to prove their worth, because it is evident in their behavior. Herein lies a key secret: the ability to remain true to oneself, without needing external approval. Most people are driven by the fear of judgment, the desire to be accepted, and self-doubt. But those who truly stand out have long outgrown these complexes. They do not seek confirmation of their importance in the eyes of others, because they have found an inner confidence that makes them impervious to the opinions of others. At this very moment, another key element comes to the fore: freedom from attachments. People whom society endows with an aura of exclusivity are not bound by the need for anyone's approval or understanding. They do not waste energy proving their own worth, because they realize that true strength grows not from external praise, but from an inner core. They do not need to beg for attention or try to please everyone they meet, because they have discovered a simple truth. True luxury is the unconstrained freedom to be oneself. But there is another detail that sets them apart from the general mass: the ability to be masters of their own destiny. They do not sit idly by waiting for a favorable turn of events, do not indulge in fruitless complaints about what is beyond their control, and do not allow external factors to dictate their life path. They have a clear vision of the future they desire, and instead of passively waiting for the environment to adapt to their needs, they resolutely take control, creating the necessary conditions to achieve their goals. Of course, the image of exclusivity and high value does not arise out of thin air. It is not simply a matter of attractive appearance, a substantial bank account, or some external tricks. It is rather a harmonious combination of a special mindset, confident behavior, selectivity in communication, emotional stability, and a deep belief in one's own uniqueness. Looking closely at those who exude an aura of luxury and universal recognition, we invariably find one common trait: they do not strive to meet the expectations of others. In a world where most are desperately seeking approval, these people stand out precisely because they have realized a simple truth: external validation has nothing to do with their true worth. It is easy to see the contrast between a person confidently going their own way and someone who is willing to change for the approval of others. Possessors of a true aura of exclusivity do not need to be pushy or make excuses. In any dialogue, they are masters of their energy, time, and personal space. They do not need to prove anything, because true authority does not need loud statements. In the art of communication, this principle is especially evident. There are people whose words are captivating from the first seconds, and not because of an elevated tone or sensational statements, but because of the weight of each word, the meaningfulness of each pause, and the purposefulness of each glance. They are not in a hurry to fill the silence with meaningless chatter, understanding that strength lies in pauses, in calmness, and in the confidence not to rush. Attention is another cornerstone. Many desperately fight for it, But those who are truly considered unique realize that attention is not begged for, but attracted naturally. They do not strive to be noticed or recognized at any cost, because their very presence already possesses magnetism. They do not boast about achievements, because their actions speak for themselves. They do not need to prove their worth, because those around them feel it intuitively. However, there is a deeper aspect to the concept of exclusivity, the absence of need. When a person demonstrates dependence on someone or something to feel complete, they involuntarily lose part of their strength. True luxury is not only material wealth, but also a sense of self-sufficiency, the ability to enjoy one's own company, without needing external confirmation of one's worth. That is why people with this magnetism do not try to fill the void with superficial relationships, do not depend on the approval of others to feel significant, and do not cling to situations that no longer contribute to their growth. This lack of attachment to external opinion creates an immediate impression of independence and inner strength. Realizing the influence of personal boundaries on the perception of others is a key moment in shaping the image of a person of high value. While people seeking universal approval may show excessive tolerance, allowing others to violate their personal space, those who exude self-confidence and realize their worth establish clear boundaries. They do not tolerate disrespect, waste no time, and skillfully deflect attempts at emotional manipulation. This selectivity in relationships not only protects them from negative influences, but also significantly enhances their appeal in the eyes of others. After all, what is not easily obtained is always valued much more. Unlike those who are always ready to say yes, who are available at any time of day, and who constantly strive to please others, people who can set boundaries maintain their individuality and influence. Another important aspect that determines the perception of a person is their ability to cope with difficulties and adversities. Maintaining composure and self-assurance when everything is going according to plan is easy, but true character is revealed in moments of crisis, when unforeseen circumstances arise. Those with strong character and developed intellect do not panic, despair, or waste time searching for someone to blame. Instead, they coolly analyze the situation, make informed decisions, and adapt to new conditions with maximum efficiency. This ability to remain calm in difficult situations demonstrates their inner strength and resilience to external influences, inspiring admiration and respect. Finally, another element that often goes unnoticed, but has a huge impact on the perception of a person's uniqueness, is the ability to create intrigue. While some people reveal all the information about themselves in the first few minutes of acquaintance, those who master the art of attracting attention know how to maintain interest in their persona by rationing information and revealing themselves gradually. When a person becomes predictable and understandable, their attractiveness fades. But when there is always something unknown about them, when each meeting reveals new facets of their personality, a magnetism arises that does not weaken over time. This fundamental principle permeates all aspects of our existence. In the world of commerce, the most prestigious goods and services do not reveal their unique characteristics instantly. In the realm of interpersonal relationships, the most attractive personalities are not in a hurry to reveal their entire background at the first meeting. In personal development, those who have a genuine influence on others do not flaunt every detail of their existence, but allow others to gradually discover the depth of their nature. Moreover, exclusivity is not only an external demonstration, but also internal self-improvement. How an individual cares for their physical, spiritual, and emotional well-being shapes the energy they radiate. People who dedicate themselves to personal growth, who are not content with mediocrity, and who invest in their own evolution inevitably stand out in any society. It is this pursuit of evolution that keeps them relevant. While many get bogged down in the familiar, the mastered, and the comfortable, those who are rightly considered extraordinary never stop learning. They are not limited to existing knowledge, but eagerly explore new concepts, perspectives, and challenges. This leads to the formation of a mindset of continuous development. They do not linger in their comfort zone, but strive to surround themselves with people who inspire growth. They do not rest on their laurels, but constantly ask themselves how to raise the bar even higher. They do not allow the fear of change to bind them, realizing that transformation is the key to maintaining a leading position. Ultimately, perceiving oneself as a luxury item, rather than just one of many options, springs from the depths of consciousness, manifests in a confident presence, and is expressed in the subtle art of selectivity. This is not a game of ostentatious splendor, but rather a genuine embodiment of the very essence that captivates and does not allow one to pass by. There is no need to persistently seek attention here. It itself, like a magnet, is drawn to your person, charmed by naturalness and strength. And it's not about dissolving into the crowd, adapting to common standards, but about proudly towering above it, radiating genuine confidence and authenticity that cannot be ignored.